Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to Mind Matters with Ify Otuya. How's everyone doing today? Where are you guys watching us from? What are you actually doing? Are you chilling at home? Are you having a nice meal with your family members? Are you working perhaps? Maybe you're studying. I really would love to know. In addition to what you're doing today, I would love to know where you're watching us from, what city or state you're watching us from, okay? We are recording here in Abuja, but some of you, I'm aware, are not watching us from Abuja. You're watching us from outside of Abuja. So I'd love to know where you're watching us from. And what medium are you using to watch us as well? Are you watching us on TV or you're watching us online? You all know that this video will be uploaded after the show is shown on TV. It'll be uploaded online, particularly on YouTube. So a lot of viewers actually watch us from there. So let me know where you're watching from, what you're doing, and what medium you're using to watch us. Head on over to X, the social media platform, and leave me a comment on there telling me your answer, okay? Let me know where you're watching from on X. The handle is Ify Otuya. That's Ify Otuya on X, okay? Fantastic. It's absolutely great to be here with you guys, and it just totally rocks that you're here with us as well too. Okay, cool. So we are still Mind Matters with Ify Otuya. We're the #1 mental health program in Nigeria at the moment, and that's on period. Okay, that's on period. That's indisputable. Why do we say we're the #1 mental health program on TV? Like I explain this every week. Guys, we've got you covered. We're a safe space to have open, relatable conversations about mental health, like no holds barred. Anything mental health, we do it right here. That's #1. The second reason, we promote a culture of mental health literacy. Who else is doing that? Like on this show, sometimes we read stories, empowering stories of mental health recoveries to you guys so that you can learn about people who have been deep in the trenches and what they did to actually come out, overcome such terrible situations. And for you to be reminded that if it worked for them, if they could do that and it worked, it's totally gonna work for you as well. Okay, so these are the reasons why we're the #1 mental health program on TV. Fantastic. Now, moving on to me, your hostess with the mostess. My name is Ify Otuya. I'm a mental health advisor and educator. Okay, I'm also the creator of the platform, or the founder of the platform, ifyotuya.com. Ifyotuya.com is a website that provides practical guidance for mental health. I've got a degree in psychology from the London Metropolitan University. So that empowers me to be able to help people, different kinds of people from all walks of life with their mental health challenges. So on the platform, ifyotuya.com, what will you find? You'll find things like articles, empowering stories, mental health reflections, quotes on mental health. That's something that's very original and very, very helpful for a lot of people, because you can meditate on the right thoughts to actually cognitively reframe your mindset. Okay, so you find powerful quotes on there. So these are resources, free resources. That's the first thing you find. The second thing you find on there is a masterclass. Our flagship masterclass is Learn the Mental Health Skills You Need. Then you find a workshop. The workshop focuses on one particular skill, whilst the masterclass gives you an overview of 10 skills, okay? So remember, mental health skills are so powerful. A mental health skill a day keeps the psychiatrist away. Now, the fourth thing that you'll find on the platform is a mental health advisory service to help people with personalized guidance and support in the form of advice so that they can take the next step forward in the right direction. Wow, that's a bit of a mouthful, but it's always fun talking about what I do and what the platform Ify Otuya contains. And remember, the resources are absolutely free, so there's nothing stopping you from going on there right now, okay, and checking out those free resources. Absolutely fantastic. Now let's move on to the next item for the day. The next item on our agenda is the topic for the day. I'm excited about this part. The topic for the day. So last week we did SUD, substance use disorder, and the feedback from you guys was amazing. And the week before that, I think we did post-traumatic stress disorder, if my memory serves me correct. So today we're switching things up and we're going to talk about burnout and stress. Now, burnout and stress is very, very important because everybody is exposed to different things that stress them in society, especially since we live in a fast-paced, technologically driven, and fast advancing world. So stress is just like a byproduct of the society that we live in, right? So the topic for today is burnout versus stress, how to tell the difference and what to do. Burnout versus stress, how to tell the difference and what to do. Cool. Now let's move on to talk about the segments for today, what to expect from today's show. Before I proceed, just to let you know, this burnout versus stress that we're going to talk about is not just me talking about it. I've got some guests in the house, but we'll get to that part very soon. Okay, so the segments for the day, I'm going to move on in a minute to announce what the theme of the day is. Remember, guys, we have a tradition on this show. There's a giveaway. We know our people love giveaway. We love freebies. So we are part of the game. We've put our teeth in the game. Not just our skin, we've thrown our teeth in the game too. Okay, so we're going to give you a free ticket to a masterclass today. Okay, a free ticket to a masterclass. The masterclass is the flagship masterclass, Learn the Mental Health Skills You Need masterclass. Okay, and this ticket is actually worth 69,000 naira, so that's roughly 70k. But we're giving it to you for free. And the only thing you have to do is to know what the theme of the day is. And then head on over to X and the handle Ify Otuya to write it there. Just any comment, any post that is on Ify Otuya, just reply to it and write the theme of the day. Or just initiate your own conversation at Ify Otuya on X and just tell me what the theme of the day is. And you could be eligible for that free ticket. 70,000 naira up for grabs. Free. I just need to know that you were listening to me on the show, and you prove that by giving me the feedback on what the theme of the day is. So that's the importance that's attached to the theme of the day. So we'll move on to define the theme of the day in a minute and to announce what the theme of the day is. Okay, then there will be some guest discussions. Like I said, I have some guests in the house and I'll be introducing them shortly. Okay, then I'll be sharing a personal experience, an encouraging insight with you from my personal experience. As you guys know, I live with the condition paranoid schizophrenia. Now, it's not written on the face, and not everybody who lives with that condition actually experiences the symptoms. Sometimes you heal and you stop experiencing the symptoms, and that's my case. But particularly, I'm not going to be talking to you about, oh, I don't experience the symptoms. That's just by the way. I'm going to be talking to you about how I struggled for 7 years with this condition, in and out of hospital, until I learned certain tools and skills to help me overcome, and how today I've actually triumphed over the condition successfully. So I'll be sharing that with you as an encouraging insight. Then we have a Q&A. Every now and then I scour our social media and website to retrieve questions that our audience have left us. And one of the questions that someone has written or someone wrote, I'm going to be reading that question today and answering that question on the show, possibly with the help of my guests. You never know. Okay, so I'll then move on to the segment of the Masterclass Giveaway, where we'll just talk briefly about the Masterclass Giveaway. But I've given most of it away already, so it's just going to be briefly when we reach that segment. And then we'll move on to the 10th item of the day, which is the quote of the day, and 4 ways we can help you. And then we'll come to our closing remarks, okay? So it's going to be a fun time in the house. Don't stress, don't stress, don't stress. Okay, cool. Now, guys, drum roll, announcing the theme of the day. The theme of the day is stress and burnout. Shikena, stress and burnout. Head on over to X and type that thing back. Oh, you could win tickets. Even if you don't want to attend the masterclass, you could give it to someone else. Give it as a gift to someone else, okay? So the theme of the day is stress and burnout. Now, what's stress and burnout in our own space? A definition that is from our space. Stress and this is not definition by a physical fitness trainer. This is definition by a mental health educator. Stress and burnout are mental health challenges, okay? They're not conditions like PTSD or SUD. Take note. Stress and burnout are mental health challenges that change the way a person thinks, feels, and behaves, and also interferes with how they navigate everyday life. I'll take that again. Stress and burnout are mental health conditions that change the way a person thinks, feels, and behaves, and also interferes with how they navigate everyday life. Wow. That makes sense. Like, we're all exposed to stress on a daily basis, and you know, when you get stressed, like, you don't talk to people the same way you normally talk to them when you're cool, when you're calm, when you're unstressed or you're distressed. Like DE stress, not DI stress, if you know what I mean. Like, when that stress is not present, there's a way you talk to people that changes, you know, it flips. It becomes exacerbated when you do have stress. So it makes sense that to say that stress interferes with how you navigate everyday life, and it changes the way you think, feel, and behave. Okay. Now I'm going to very shortly move on to introduce my guests, right? But before I introduce my guests, there's something I want to share with you guys. And I don't want this to be a platform where everybody's just like, oh, stress is bad, stress is bad, stress is bad. Yes, stress is bad, but in truth, there's something called positive stress. Did you know that? These psychologists, they've come again. There's something called positive stress. Okay, I don't want you to be doing mental gymnastics, but hear me out. This positive stress is eustress. They call it eustress. It's pronounced eustress. And positive stress or eustress is a type of stress that helps us to meet deadlines. It helps us to it helps motivate us. So when you have deadlines, you have exams, you have a presentation to make our work, just that edgy little bit of extra stress can actually help you stay motivated to deliver. It helps to boost performance in athletes. Sometimes when an athlete is stressed, you find that they perform better, you know. So there's something called positive stress, and I think that our psychologists are going to shed more light on this today when we delve into the topic of stress and burnout. Okay, so I'm going to proceed now to introduce my guests to you. First of all, I'll be starting with I've got a male and a female. I'll be starting with the female, and I'll read a short bio of her. Her name is Chidera Ogudire. Okay, Chidera Ogudire. She's a psychologist from Reconnect Human Development Initiative. That's Reconnect HDI. Now, Chidera Ogudire is a psychologist, employee wellness advocate, mental health educator, and wellness facilitator. Passionate about promoting psychological well-being in workplaces and communities. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and is currently pursuing a Master of Science in Clinical Psychology at the Nigerian Defense Academy. That's NDA, Kaduna. Now, with experience in mental health support, addiction recovery services, and wellness programming, she is committed to helping individuals build resilience, manage stress, and prioritize their mental health through advocacy, public engagement, and community outreach. So that's our first guest, Chidera Ogudire. Now, our second guest, the male, is Adinu Ify Daniel. Okay, he's a psychologist with Reconnect HDI as well. Adinu Ify Daniel is a dedicated and compassionate psychologist, wellness counselor, and mental health advocate with extensive experience delivering evidence-based mental health and psychosocial support across clinical and humanitarian settings. Now, proven expertise in trauma-informed care, addiction recovery, crisis intervention, rehabilitation and reintegration, and maintaining sobriety for all you people that are hooked on one substance or the other. Okay, so now with a Bachelor of Science degree from Caritas University, Amorji Nike, Enugu. So that's our second guest, Adinu Ify Daniel. He's a psychologist as well. My guests, how are you guys today?
Fine, thank you.
Very fine. Glad to be here today.
You're glad to be here. Good. I'm happy to see you guys here, and I'm sure our viewers are edging on their seats or on their beds, whatever they are, you know, they're looking forward to the conversation today and they want to learn, because on this show is always something to teach and something to learn, which we absolutely love about the show. So could you tell us just very briefly about your Reconnect HDI? What do you guys do there?
Okay, Reconnect HDI is an arm of Interchangeably Consortium.
Okay.
So Interchangeably Consortium is the largest mental health facility in the whole of West Africa.
Okay.
So we have branches, and that's where Reconnect HDI falls on. So Reconnect HDI is the NGO aspect, the NGO arm of Interchangeably Consortium. So they handle, or just like she said, human development initiative. So part of the things we do is when people want mental health, need mental health interventions, and they are not able to afford fully, Reconnect HDI comes in and acts as a mediator, like, okay, this is what we can offer to help you, and you can do this. So we come in to help people. We raise initiatives to help individuals that are battling with one mental health issues or the other, challenges, conditions. That's just part of the things we do.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's enough to know about Reconnect HDI. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm itching to speak to you, Ify, but before I speak to you, we're going to go on a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, guys, we're going to look at stress and burnout, understanding the difference between stress and burnout, and also having a grasp of a simple everyday definition of what stress is. These guys are going to educate us today, and I'm so stoked about it. Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break now. Don't go away. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, guys. It's still Mind Matters with Ify Otuya, and I'm still your hostess, Ify Otuya. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, guys, we are looking at stress and burnout today. And I've got 2 psychologists in the house to help me out with updating you people and upgrading you people with information and knowledge on stress and burnout. So one of the first things we're going to look at, throwing to my guests Chidera and Ify, we're going to look at how to define stress in simple everyday language. Who would like to go first? How to define stress? Ify would go. Okay.
So basically, if I'm asked to define stress in the most simplest form, stress is basically a natural response our body activates to prompt us to respond to challenges, both internal and external. So it's our body getting prepared to face challenges that have confronted us, both within us or within our space. When we are confronted with a stressful situation, the body releases what's called cortisol, which is nicknamed the stress hormone, which helps the body get into that. When that hormone is released, you see that your breathing becomes faster, your nose starts flaring up. All is just preparing the body to confront this challenge that is across it. So as you stated, stress is not in itself not a bad thing. There's either positive or negative stress. So it's just the body preparing us to confront a challenge that has been presented before us.
Yeah, and just picking up from that thing that you said, that stress in itself is not such a bad thing. I think that when stress is prolonged and is left without management, then that's when it can be a bad thing. That's when it can lead to or contribute to post-traumatic stress disorder. It can lead to different kind of conditions as well when it's prolonged and is left unmanaged, right?
Yeah. So when the body releases this cortisol and the body continue producing that for a long period of time, it has several effects it has on the body, which is why it is not advisable that an individual should be in a stressful situation for a long period of time, so that the body can come back to its natural states. I usually give this example. The body confronting stress is like a rubber ring. A rubber ring is meant to be expanded to accommodate a lot of things. Yes, but when it is left in that expanded state for a very long period of time, a point will reach where it will end up breaking, because it is not supposed to go beyond that limit. So that is just how the human body responds to stress. It is not supposed to respond to stress, but after a certain period of time, it is not supposed to be in that stressful situation for a long period of time. So after that, the body starts disintegrating and start responding negatively, and you start seeing some physical symptoms. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just come back
it's
to
fine, it's fine. No, that's fine. Thank you. Very insightful. Very insightful. Okay, so Chidera, what is burnout and how is it different from stress?
Okay, so thank you very much, Miss Ify. So yeah, burnout is very different from stress because it's like a compound, unmanaged chronic stress. So like my colleague Ify said, there are positive stress and there are negative stress. So when you've gotten to the part of negative stress, that's a continuous stress, you keep overwhelming yourself without help. You know, some people don't understand when it happens. They just feel like, oh, I'm just tired, I'll rest. But if you keep doing that over and over again without managing it, you get to the point where you feel detached, empty. You've given everything. Now there is nothing to give. That is where burnout comes in. So burnout, according to APA, that's American Psychological Association, it is characterized by 3 symptoms.
Okay.
And that is, the first one is exhaustion. So you have mental exhaustion and depletion of energy, total depletion of energy. So things you've derived joy doing, you can't do it. The second one is cynicism. So cynicism is like thinking low of yourself and negative of yourself. So and other people around you. Like let me use an example. You used to do this before. Now you now feel like, oh God, I can't give enough anymore. I'm bad at this. But this is something you used to do before. Now you now talk down on yourself. You see yourself in a negative light, that this is something that I'm used to doing. It means that I'm not strong enough, I'm not bold enough to continue. And then the third symptom is ineffectiveness. You feel a wide range of like lack of energy, ineffective, you can't go forward, you can't do anything. And that is the 3 symptoms that we use in classifying burnout. Ineffectiveness, lack of
Cynicism.
strength, yeah, and cynicism. So lack of strength and cynicism. So these are the three things. Once someone has experienced these three things, then you know that it's far beyond stress. It's now burnout.
It's now burnout.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that stress is feeling like you have too much to handle, whereas burnout is feeling like you have nothing left to
Yes,
give?
that's the exact layman word. Because in stress, with
Too much
the whole
and
things
nothing
you
left.
are doing, you still feel like, oh, if I'm okay, let me use an example. I'm here, I have this show to come to, I have work at the office, and I have work at home. It's positive, it's okay. Like with all the things that I'm doing, I feel like, oh, if I'm to go past this stage, I would feel better. But with burnout, you can't even seem to do anything. So you don't have enough to give. You are in, if I'm to use an expression, it's meh. Like, sorry, like, like
I got you.
you understand? Like, so because you feel like doing it, but you want to do it. You know, some people come to the office, normal person that you know that this person has enough energy, is always bustling with life. All of a sudden, the person start detaching from people.
Yeah.
You know, when they start detaching from people, you see them, you just come, they just sit down. The person's not doing anything. You know, you zone out during meetings. You sit down, not doing anything. You know, people say, why are you becoming lazy? They don't know that it's not the person's, that's not what the person wants to do. Just the person has gotten to this point where
They have nothing more to
everything,
give.
there is nothing more.
They're just exhausted completely.
Exhausted completely. So that's burnout.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what are some early signs of chronic stress or long-term prolonged stress? What are early signs?
Okay, the first early signs, I would say, you know, we have characteristics. There are physical signs, emotional signs, and then there are the behavioral signs. So when we talk about, you know, on a normal stressful day, when you go home and lie down and wake up, you feel energized the next morning. But when you've gotten to that point that after consistent rest, you don't feel better, you are on the level of chronic stress. You cannot sleep, constant headache, physical. You're always having headache, your body is always paining you, you can't sleep well. These are physical symptoms of chronic stress.
Okay.
When you try to rest, even after popping pills, you know, some people will take paracetamol for the headache, it comes back. They'll tell you take a lot of water, it comes back, it doesn't go away. The stress keeps coming daily. You know that you've got into chronic stress, you need to pause. Also, we have the mental symptoms, that's the emotional symptoms, psychological symptoms, where you detach yourself from people. You know, you don't know how to explain what you're feeling. You don't know the word for it. You know that it has gone beyond stress, but you don't know what to say. That's when we know that it has gotten to chronic stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can now also have the social and relational signs of chronic stress. That is where you see irritability. This individual, you see that people all of a sudden they become. It's very easy to annoy them. That is the best way to see it. So when you have somebody that you know, this person on a normal day, there are certain things I will do and this person can get angry, but the person, every little thing gets the person upset. You know that this person is suffering from chronic stress. And there's also emotional withdrawal and isolation. You have someone that is always the life of the party. All of a sudden the person is withdrawing from those things. You start realizing those are also relational signs of chronic stress. There's also the economic aspect. That is where you start seeing decrease in productivity, because the person has been managing and dealing with this stress for a long period of time. All of a sudden, this person who was a high performer in the office is now one of the least performing persons in the office. So this is also an economic aspect of chronic stress.
Okay, would you also say that these are key indicators of burnout? Or is it worse with burnout? What are key indicators according to you?
So when you start seeing these signs we've spoken about on chronic stress, you know that this individual is almost at the point of burnout. It's not almost, the person is already burnt out, because when the individual, a high performing individual who always meets his targets, meets everything that is given to him in the office, all of a sudden start being the one that you have to check up on, missing deadline, is always requesting for time, absencing from office or coming late more than usual. You know that, yes, these are all signs of burnout. So yeah, those signs are also signs of burnout. And if you notice that in an individual, the person is suffering from burnout.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm learning a lot. I'm kind of grounded in the conception that having nothing more to give kind of gives burnout away, and then doing more than you should be doing explains stress. So these are very important indicators and early signs. You know, they are physical, social, economical, and etc. Okay, so what are some? We talked about workplace earlier, you know, but also in family and like relationships. What are common causes of stress in today's world? Stress and burnout. What are some common causes? Like I have like workplace pressure and professional demands. That's like a very big one. And then caregiving responsibilities and emotional overload. That's something that borders on relationships and family life, especially where you see a lot of women who are juggling with the responsibility of caring for their man, caring for their children, and caring for themselves as well, and then the home. You know, and then there's lifestyle and lack of rest or recovery time. This doesn't particularly relate to work, but it relates to a person's lifestyle, how they go out, what they do, their ambitions, you know, what they spend their time doing. Some people live on that fast-paced lane, you know, that fast lane, fast life, and you don't take time out to just calm down. So where you need to calm down, sometimes they resort to unhealthy coping habits, such as substance use, and we all know that that's unhealthy. So you know, what are your perspectives on common causes of stress in today's society?
Okay, so basically, common causes of stress, I would like to focus more on the women aspect because I've been privileged to, I've been opportune. Sincerely. One of our treatment center, Olive Prima Venture, is an all-women center. So we host this Opens Day every month. Yeah, so I've been opportune to speak to women. You know, women go through a lot. In today's world whereby we women, we tend to do a lot of things. You know, we have our careers, we have to still do caregiving, take care of the children, you take them to school, you bring them back, you prepare food. So you're doing both. You know, before, in the past, it's the man that goes out, you know, we are to make money, come back, you know, you only just take care of the home and rest. But now, women are superheroes. They do everything at the same time. We work, we take care of the home and other things. We still make our time for our friends. You know, you speak to a lot of women, you wonder how they do it. They're the providers in their immediate family, they're the providers in their extended family, they are the professionals at workplace. So you ask them, how do you rest? When do you bring out time to rest? And you find them sitting down for like 10-15 minutes. They cannot think about the last time they had proper rest. So that's like major indicator of stress in women. Like, women don't know when to pause. You know, for men, they know when to pause. Sincerely. Yeah.
That's not generalized.
No, for men, sometimes when a man is tired, you can just sit down with his friends and after
unwind.
Unwind. Do you understand? After work, you just say, oh, let me just stay with my friend and just stay 5-15 minutes before going home. That 5-15 minutes, the interaction with their friends, you know, before you know, they're relaxed. Because it's how the body works. You know, when you're stressed and you laugh, you feel better because the body releases hormones that help you feel better.
Yes, endorphins.
So when you're with people that makes you happy for even 5-10 minutes, you feel better. But the woman is not thinking about going to her friend now. She's thinking about after work, let me go home. The kids, I have to pick them from school, I have to bathe them, and before you know, the day has gone. Practically. So it's a cycle. The next day you continue like that. The next day you continue like that. It's not this problem. So women are more prone to this burnout than men in some cases, in most cases, if I should say. And that is one major concern in today's society because we women, we are caregivers. But ask them this question, when last did you care about your own self? And you realize that
difficult.
A lot of women don't know what rest is.
Okay, so that's caregiving responsibilities. That's a major cause.
Let me add something. Since my colleague has gone there, she was.
You want to venture into the female?
No, she has already divided it into male and female. Let me speak for the male audience.
What was the sexes?
It won't be first. And on that note, this month is Men's Mental Health Month.
Awareness month, right?
Let's go there. I understand. I'll be very unfair if I say women are not suffering high level of stress more than men. It will be unfair for me to say that, but we should also realize that in this modern world, one of the main pressures that men go through is this pressure of trying to provide for the family as much as is possible. We should not kid ourselves. Nigeria is among one of the poorest nations in the world, where the average income of an average household in Nigeria is basically below the poverty line, and most households in Nigeria are just one income away from diving into abject poverty. That is one. Two, the nature of the jobs men engage in nowadays are actually on the high stress part.
Okay.
For example, you have the military, the police. These are jobs that there's a 50% chance you go out every day and you won't return. And the stress is there. I'm saying this because I've worked with some of my friends are from the military, and it's very hard to see a man telling you that I sat down this morning and I ate with my friend and he went on patrol and he didn't come back. Men don't discuss about that thing, but you can see from their eyes that it's getting to them. So the nature of the jobs, you see a lot of men are the ones that do manual labor, and that is something that is physically demanding. So the stress level is there, and you finish doing that and you still have to provide for the home. And in the world where we are now, you still have to be the present father who go for your physically demanding job and still have to go to schools, and you have to still be there present, and you still have to protect and still provide for the family.
Yeah.
So it's not me saying women don't experience high level of stress, but men also experience it. It's just that men have this way of trying to cover everything up so that you don't see it. It's when you interact with them, you know that they are going through a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's very good. So what are some practical coping strategies that people can use when they're dealing with stress? Because a lot of people resort to unhealthy coping habits, right? What are some practical coping habits that people can use?
So one of the things I teach individuals who come to me is understanding the concept of circle of control. Understand the things that are under your that are within your control and the things that are outside your control. And one of the first things I mention to them is what you eat. It sounds very little, but the food you put into your body is very, very essential. So you have individuals who go through high level of stress. You see them eating quick foods, food that contain a lot of fat and are not really good for their body. So one of the things I advise people is eat healthy. Eating healthy doesn't mean you have to break the bank. It might just mean at the end of the day you sit down and drink about 3-4 oranges and also eat the inside of it to get enough fiber, and drink a lot of water. Number 2 is exercise. Exercise doesn't have to be going to the gym.
You can take walks.
Take a walk, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. That is within your control. You can control that. On that thing is sleep. It is very underrated what sleep can do. Having a good night rest can do a lot of things for your mind. It gives your body. One thing people don't understand is sleep is when your body is trying to recover and rebuild some of the things that were damaged during the day. Those are within your control. Control those things. Things that are not within your control. One is you can't control the economy of Nigeria. It is what it is, so there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how much you complain, you can't control that. And that thing is the weather. You can't control the weather. It is far, 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 far beyond your control. So know those things, identify those things that are within your immediate control, and try to put them in control as much as possible, and leave those ones that are outside your control. And you see that it might not look like it's doing something, but in the long run it's actually giving you something. A lot.
I've got a question for you, Chidera, actually. How do we know, okay, because you talked earlier about stress and that sometimes you need to pause and take a rest.
Yeah.
So how do we know the difference, like this difference between when to pause versus when to seek help?
Okay.
How do we know when we are at the pausing stage and when we're at the seek additional support stage?
Okay, the pausing stage, when we talked about stress, we talked about the 3 types of stress. Aside the distress and eustress, we have acute, we have episodic acute, and we have chronic. So acute is normal. You know, you have deadlines to meet. It's motivational stress. It motivates you to meet deadline. Episodic is where you get to that you have to pause. Because episodic is when you have more than 1 or 2 things at the same time. You're juggling work. Okay, let me use an event planner that has in the split of 1 week, you have like 3-4 events that you need to be at, and you feel like you're such a superhuman that you have to do all these things alone. You want to juggle this one and juggle this one and juggle that one, attend to this, attend to that, and attend to this. It's a cluster of acute stress. That's what episodic. So at this point, that's where you tell yourself you have to take a chill pill. You know, one of the things you can do is delegate duties. A lot of high efficient working individuals don't know what delegating duties is. They feel like they can do everything themselves. But no, we're not built to do everything ourselves. So that's where you should sit. Well, if you see yourself that, if you notice in your behavioral pattern that you seem to want to do everything yourself, you have a lot of duties, but you don't know how to share. Okay, you take this one, you take this one. I think that's where you sit and pause, reflect, rest, take it, identify your stressors at that point. These are what is stressing me. Can I handle this one alone at this point? Is this something I can give to someone to do while I rest? Because rest is very essential. If you have a survey now in workplace and about people that are actually taking work leave, work leave is compulsory. As compulsory as it is, there are people that don't take work leave. There are people that don't take work leave. If you do a survey, you'll be surprised at how much people don't take their work leave. But that work leave is there for a reason, for you to take a step back and rest. So when you've gotten to that point, it's indicator that you need to chill, one step at a time. Then when you know that you now need intervention, psychological or professional intervention, how you would know is if you've gotten to that point whereby you are trying to move but you can't move, you are trying to do things you enjoy doing. People are lovers of their job, especially when you see someone that love what they are doing. Let us take Miss Ify for an example. She loves to present, she loves to educate people, and then suddenly you don't see her shows anymore, or she don't feel like talking about it. I think that's a point where she can tell herself, this thing I used to enjoy doing it, but right now I don't seem to have the energy to do it. Like I'm detached, you're emotionally detached from it. That's the point where you need to get help. Even before that, once you see yourself getting excessively tired, stressed out, that you want to rest but you can't rest, or you've taken a rest, you've slept, it's not working, I think you should seek help. Speak out.
Okay,
Talk about
to also add to that, one thing I also want to mention is sleep. If you notice that after taking 8 hours, 9 hours of sleep, you still wake up very tired, very exhausted, and it's happened consecutively over a period of time, I think that is also an indication that you actually need professional help, because sleep is where your body is supposed to relax and repair everything, but you've slept for the required number of hours and you're still waking up very tired, very exhausted. Not after doing a couple of things, immediately you're waking up from sleep. That is, at that point, you should know that you need professional help.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. This is really fun talking about when to get help, when to delegate, when to pause, when to reflect, when to rest, get some rest. If you need to do a bit extra, do it after you rest. If it's necessary, you delegate to other people to help you. But when you've gotten to the point where you are overwhelmed, you can't sleep, you can't enjoy the things that you normally do enjoy, then that's about time to seek professional help, because you obviously are overwhelmed and you can't do it on your own anymore. Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break now. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion and move on to other segments as well. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. My guests have been here and we've been discussing burnout and stress, and it's been such an educative moment for us. You know, I've learned a lot, I must say. I have a question just to wrap things up with the guys. Like, I wish we could stay here and talk forever, but we're running out of time. I don't know if I even have enough time to share my story with you, which I really wanted to. But the last question that I have for my guests is, what's one practical tool that people can apply immediately in their lives, especially when they're facing burnout or stress, or burnout and stress? What's one practical tool that can be applied?
Okay, so one thing I would say, something about reclaiming control and setting boundaries. So I use calendars to map out things to do for the day. So reclaiming control, you know your triggers. These are things that trigger you. You take control of those things. Your schedule should be in your hands. Important, prioritize your tasks. Important, less important, that way. In fact, in your timetable, you should have time for rest. My best friend taught me this in writing the day's activity in her jotter. She has 2 p.m. to this, unwind. That is a very good scoping mechanism. Have time for unwinding. Have a hobby. Like, hobbies are very underrated. Something you know that you genuinely like outside work. It can be shouting at the plane station, at train station, or the airport. You know, shouting. Some people relieve stress by screaming. It can be dancing, listening to music. Just 1 hour a day for that, just to distress and to go a long way. Sincerely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Ify, what about you?
So there's a quote by Anne Lamott that says, everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. So for me, I would advise, once in a while, prioritize yourself, take a time out for yourself, and just detach from everything, from work and everything, and just take a time out for yourself and just rest properly.
Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. I'll come back to you a bit later on with the Q&A for the day to see, have you guys chip in the Q&A for the day. But basically, now I'm going to share my personal experience and encouraging insights with you. There's been lots of encouraging insights so far, but I'm going to share more with you, even more, as if that was possible, right? It never ends. Okay, so my personal story with paranoid schizophrenia began in 2009. I just relocated back from the UK to Nigeria to set up my music career, which I was doing at the time. I met so many artists. I was driven. I was, you know, here and there. I granted interviews. I performed at so many shows. But as time would have it, I wasn't being paid for the shows that I was performing. I wasn't making money with my music business. A lot of artists can relate to this kind of scenario. And so it's pretty much, I grew disillusioned. It depressed me. It changed me greatly. I would spend hours and days in my room, not come out, not speak to anyone. My music career pretty much came to a halt because it wasn't economically viable. There are lots of different things that happened in between, but because of lack of time, I can't share all of those things with you. But to bring everything, you know, to the nutshell of the story is that my career wasn't economically viable, and that impacted on my mental health negatively. I didn't seek help for the situation that I found myself in. I didn't speak to a therapist. I didn't even know anything about a mental health advisor. I didn't even speak to my family members. I didn't confide in them. I didn't just let out that toxicity and heal from it. It wasn't something that I did. And as a result of that, over time, I began to develop more symptoms of paranoid schizophrenia. So in 2016, I carried on for a few years, just worsening by the day. I mean, I was smiling, you know, I was laughing with people, but I did have quite a number of symptoms. So in 2016, I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. My world fell apart. Like, I just thought, me of all people, paranoid schizophrenia, I'm so driven, I'm so vivacious. I'm not the candidate for this kind of thing. So I refused to accept diagnosis. I refused to comply with treatment, and for the next 7 years I struggled like that, in and out of psychiatric hospital, in and out of relapse again and again. But after 7 years I grew tired of the trajectory of my life, and I really wanted to see a change. So I learned some skills and tools that helped me to reframe my mindset. One of the first things I did was to accept diagnosis. I began to comply with treatment. And a lot of you are in that situation where you're dealing with one mental health challenge or the other. Now, my encouraging insight to you is, if you just bring yourself to the point where if you've been diagnosed, you accept diagnosis, or if you haven't been diagnosed, you take yourself to a psychologist or a psychiatrist so that you get a proper diagnosis, so that they can begin to work on a personalized treatment plan for you. It's not the end of the world. It's actually the beginning of the rest of your life, where you can author an empowering story for yourself. So because I made those decisions in my life, I also went on to create my website, which is what I do now. I write empowering articles and stories on mental health. So I empowered myself, but I also empowered other people. And that's how my life changed. So your life can definitely change, no matter how far gone you are. Okay? So moving on to our Q&A, the question for the day is it possible to ever be fully cured of your mental illness, or is it more about accident or luck? Now, we don't really have time to go back to our guests today, so I'm just going to answer that really, really quickly. Is it possible to ever be fully cured of your mental illness? It is possible. It's not by accident or luck. There are certain steps, there's a certain shift that happens. There are certain tools or certain skills or certain things that are put in place that make you change, that make you turn away from that bad place you are heading towards and begin to walk towards the light. It's not by accident or luck, or it's by determination and by what's the word that I'm looking for? It has to be deliberate. It doesn't happen accidentally. It doesn't happen by luck or magic. It has to be deliberate. Okay? So we've talked about the Masterclass giveaway. Remember, head on over to X and let me know what the theme of the day is, and you can win a free ticket to my Masterclass. Okay? Now, our quote of the day says, "In the dance of life, each step forward is a quiet triumph over doubt. Keep moving to your own rhythm." It says, "In the dance of life, each step forward is a quiet triumph over doubt. Keep moving to your own rhythm." I think that's something that's very powerful. If you're thinking of taking that next step to seek help with your own mental health challenge, like, that's your rhythm. That's a good rhythm. You should keep moving. You may have doubts, like, do I need to do this? Do I want to share my story with other people? Do I want to invite other professionals into my life? Do I want to make myself vulnerable to other kinds of people? But if you don't actually step out to seek help, you may not change, you may not improve, you may not overcome your mental health challenges. So if you're thinking of stepping out to actually seek help for whatever challenge it is you're going through, or you're thinking of doing the right things, lifestyle changes sometimes, it's not everything that is psychologist or psychiatrist. You know, sleeping well, resting, eating well, exercise, reading about mental health skills, practicing those things as well. These are lifestyle changes that can impact you greatly. Okay, now there's something really important that I want to share with you, and I always share with you every week. As you guys are aware, mental health challenges is many people are experiencing mental health challenges. That's something that a lot of people are experiencing, right? And not only are people experiencing mental health challenges, but they're experiencing them at an all-time high. There's no other time in recent history that mental health challenges have been experienced at the level that they're currently being experienced. So they're experiencing mental health challenges at an all-time high. And as if this wasn't bad enough, a lot of people experiencing mental health challenges are stuck with these challenges. I know what it's like to be in that place where you don't move forward. No matter what you do, like for me, for 7 years, no matter the New Year's vow or New Year's resolution I took that this year things are going to be different with my mental health, no matter how many times I said it, I relapsed. I would go in and out of hospital. I needed help. I was relapsing again and again, like I was stuck. You know, and a lot of people are in that place. It's debilitating, it's frustrating, it's angering, it's overwhelming. It's a really, really bad place to be in. And I feel your pain. I definitely know what it's like. But the truth of the matter is, like, no matter who you are or whatever your background is or where you come from, You don't deserve that. You deserve to be in control of your mental health. That's what we all deserve, so that we can be accountable in our own lives and we can contribute responsibly to society. Now, this is the reason why we always recommend mental health skills on this show. And even outside of this show, it's something that I highly recommend. When you learn mental health skills, do you stop experiencing mental health challenges? Nope. I never said so. You will experience mental health challenges because that's part of the human experience. But what changes? What changes is this. You begin to address your challenges with ease and grace, not strife and frustration. Okay? You become unstuck. Now, what is the end result of using mental health skills in your mental health journey, or to address your mental health challenges? You live better and have a happier life. You overcome your challenges and you bring your challenges from an all-time high to an all-time low. Now, if you need help with learning and applying mental health skills, or you need help with your mental health in general, there are 4 ways we can help you. Okay, 4 ways we can help you. 1, we have free resources on our website. You're welcome to peruse those resources at any point in time. The second way we can help you is our masterclass, the flagship masterclass, which we're giving away free tickets to. That one. Learn the mental health skills you need. We teach you 10 essential mental health skills, such as stress management, emotional regulation, positive thinking, resilience building, self-awareness, etc. Then the third way we can help you is the workshop. In the workshop, we focus on one particular skill at a time rather than giving you an overview of 10 skills. So it's more intensive, and we focus on applying and practicing one particular skill at a time. Then fourthly, there's the mental health advisory session for people who are dealing with mental health challenges, especially busy professionals. We live in a fast-paced, technologically advancing world, and things change every 5 minutes or less in the workplace. There's a lot of demands on people, busy professionals and young adults alike. So we help them with the advisory session by providing advice to them to help them take the next step forward in the right direction. So these are 4 ways that we can help you guys. So moving on to my guests again, I've just got to say a massive thank you to you guys for coming today. Like
thank you for having us.
Yes, you may think your contribution has been little, but you have no idea, it's been big, and I feel like I've learned something, and I'm sure that the audience has walked away with something big as well.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, so we've come to a close, guys. It's been absolutely phenomenal hanging out with you guys today. If you're interested in following our work, joining the movement, keeping updated with what we're doing at Mind Matters with Ify Otuya, you're more than welcome to find us on social media. The handles are on X and on YouTube, and the name is Ify Otuya. That's the handle on X and YouTube. Or the handle is on X and YouTube, Ify Otuya. So once you find me on X, you'll find me through my bio there. You'll find my other social media handles. They change. It's not consistently Ify Otuya throughout. But on YouTube and on X is definitely Ify Otuya. So you can join me and connect with me on there. Thank you so much, guys. It's been such a pleasure hanging out with you. Until next time, let's talk openly about mental health.